The most slept on mower brand. I'm a Toro dealer. I will shock you, I'm not gonna be talking about Toro in this one. I started buying and selling used equipment from behind a barn behind my property 4 or 5 years ago to the point where we got this full-fledged equipment dealership, and I learned a lot about the different mower brands that are out there. One mower brand that I had not heard of before that point, Simplicity. And when I heard that name Simplicity, my mind that didn't know about the mower world 5 years ago heard the word simple. When I hear that word simple in my mind, I'm thinking this is kind of a lower line type mower. And boy was I wrong, because I started to buy some of these Simplicities and the quality is really great from the bottom all the way to the top series of Simplicity. I've mentioned this as well in other videos, but yeah, I'm a Toro dealer talking about Simplicity. I'm a really big guy on talking about what is the dealer that you're getting it from. Lots of these mowers use the same types of transmissions. Lots of them use the same type of engines, and really it's gonna come down to a lot of dealer support, but there's definitely differences between each of these. I'm not here to say that Simplicity is the best mower brand in the world, but I definitely put it in the top. Again, I think it's the most slept on mower brand, partly because of its name, maybe the misconceptions that come with that. Maybe that's just me, I'm not sure. That's just what I thought when I kind of heard that name. Here's a little understanding 101 about this brand, Simplicity. Briggs & Stratton owns 3 different mower brands. They own Simplicity, Ferris, and Snapper. And if I were to put all 3 of those mowers right beside each other, you would actually notice that their frames are identical. I've made videos in the past about how Toro owns Exmark, and you'll see a lot of the same frames between the different models. There are so many different makes and models that do the same sort of thing. You know, Briggs & Stratton owning those brands, those chassis are made in the same plant. And again, when we're thinking of those top level brands, Ferris is one of those that come to mind. Toro, Exmark, Skag, there's some of these really big mower brands that kind of come to mind. Simplicity really isn't one of those to me, and I feel as though it should, because it is just ever so slightly different from a Ferris. Simplicity puts a shock on every single corner of this machine, and it makes for a super comfortable ride as you're going through there. Looking here at the back of the engine, look at the massive shock that's back there. You can actually set that shock to different increments. There's also really good accessibility as far as getting to everything when you flip the seat up. I really like that. This particular model has serviceable transmissions made by Hydro Gear, and Simplicity doesn't just make zero turns, they make tractors, and on the tractors they use this shock system as well. And one thing you'll see if you go over to the Simplicity side, on the tractor side, they make a really high-end dealer quality tractor, which have great turning radiuses and have the speed much like a zero turn even, so kind of keep that in mind. So really, to understand Simplicity, it helps to understand Ferris, or what are those differences between a Simplicity and a Ferris. And I've tried to do some research in my history of buying different mowers and all that, but I've had a Simplicity right next to a Ferris, and I could not tell the difference when they were on the exact same trim level. I've read things, I've seen things where people talk about how the Ferris has slightly thicker components or steel in different spots, but I haven't necessarily seen that. And it depends on what grade you go within Simplicity or within Ferris. Go ahead and tell me if you know that there is in fact indeed a difference between Simplicity and Ferris. Now, a difference with Simplicity and Ferris is Simplicity, and one of those kind of key characteristics I said is the shocks. Another key characteristic of a Simplicity is that they put a roll bar on the back of the deck, and what that does is that lays down the grass and kind of leaves that striping effect, kind of that golf course type look, which is really nice. Another kind of characteristic you're going to see with Simplicity, a lot of engine options that are Briggs & Stratton just because of that. I've seen Kohlers and I've seen different engines. That is something you may particularly see. A feeling that I get when I get on a Simplicity is it's sitting up a little bit higher than most of those models. I've talked about how depending on where you put the gas tank on a mower, it's going to help you hold hills. Well, these are up on the side. Everything seems to sit up a little bit higher. I kind of like that feeling, the visibility when I'm up on this. Another thing that I like on here is this deck lift mechanism. Toro, on their upper trim models, make a deck lift mechanism that is somewhat similar to this, that you have a pin that you can set different heights as far as your cutting. One thing I do like about that Simplicity is this has a spring-loaded system, so when I go ahead and press this, it will lock it into that transport mode. And when it's in transport mode, I can go ahead and set the deck rather than having to just hold this up. So that's kind of a nice feature that I really like. If I want to go ahead and put that down, I just go ahead and press that right there. So those are some nice features on the Simplicity. I've mentioned a product as well that I sort of helped pioneer and design, because one thing I noticed with the Toros is when you're going ahead and pressing and bringing these in, some of the models that I've had, I hit my knees. I'm a bigger guy. I hit my knees on here. So we've actually made some extensions that raise this up a little bit higher, because this to me is a little bit of a problem. Only if you're really, really tall like I am, 6'8", it might be helpful. I'll put that in the description if you guys are interested in getting some extensions. Works for Toro, works for Simplicity. There's probably other brands, Ferris. There's other brands that have the same type of system that you can add this extension piece on. And there's a lot of different models within Simplicity. And again, I'm not a Simplicity dealer, so go ahead and tell me what are the ones I'm missing, or what should I not mention anymore, because I've seen a lot of used brands like this one, right? This is a 3 or 4 year old Simplicity that I'm talking about, but I believe they start out with a Courier on the zero turn side. There are Champions, then you can get Contenders, then Citations. It goes all the way up to a Cobalt. A Cobalt is similar to the Ferris 3000 series. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, don't get too stuck on the mower brand. This is awesome, right? And I've talked about Toro has a MyRide suspension system right over here on this Toro side. I could mention a bunch of other brands, and they do different things for suspension that are really good. So again, think about the dealer, because I'll tell you that Simplicity is far better than Toro if you buy an 8,000 version of the Simplicity versus a 3,000 version, $3,000 version of a Toro, and vice versa. Toro would be head and shoulders above if you bought a $10,000 Toro versus a $3,500 Simplicity. So it really matters, right, on what are the transmissions you're getting in the machine? What is the engine? Of course, the fit and finish details are better on some different mower brands compared to others. You may like the feeling of some suspension on this mower brand versus another, and it may very well be a preference as to what you like about different suspension systems, but this is definitely a mower brand that's slept on. And I'll tell you what, if you like this video, if you like me kind of breaking down what makes a Simplicity, or just some of the informational type things in the equipment world, we do videos on mowers, ATVs, sometimes how to fix them. So definitely follow us for more content like this, and thank you for watching.